Hey guys, I really quickly wanted to mention this book. So I just finished it. It's The Time Traveler's Wife, so I'm going to talk about it a little bit. And I was initially going to do a book and movie review together, but I read up some reviews on the movie and a lot of people said that it kind of ruined the book for them, and I didn't want to risk that. Plus it wasn't on Netflix or Movies on Demand, so screw it, I'm not gonna bother going to Walmart and buying it. So yes, but it is a movie, but I just don't feel like getting it. So I initially didn't read this book for a very long time just because it was so thick for me, and I was scared that it was going to be kind of sci-fi with time traveling and everything, and it really reminds me of that book I just read. I can't remember the name of it. Slaughterhouse-Five. I thought it would remind me of that, and I didn't really enjoy that book. It was just really weird and confusing, and I don't know, time travel is just a little too much for me because I'm more of like a non-fiction kind of person. But I finally was like, you know what, give it a chance. So a little synopsis, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's about Claire and Henry, and it's a love story, which I also am not a huge fan of. I just think that they're so predictable, and to me, love stories can kind of be just a waste of time, and there's really no point to them. I don't know, it's just something that I don't really enjoy reading about. Claire and Henry, basically, you can tell they get married because Time Traveler's Wife, but Henry time travels, which means like it's part of his genes that he can't control it. He just kind of travels to wherever his body takes him, and he can't wear clothes when he time travels, so he always ends up naked all the time, and he has to steal, and he really doesn't like his lifestyle. And he meets Claire when she is 6 years old in a meadow, so she lives a normal life, like normal timeline life, but he kind of skips all around. And so the whole book I was confused on. Just like, if you read it, you'll understand, like, it's just kind of confusing, like, where he's coming from and how long they've known each other and, like, where they are in their relationship. It can get really confusing, but I think that Audrey, the author, kind of did that on purpose. I think she just kind of, like, leaves out little parts just to make it more obscure to the reader. She does try and help the reader by putting like the date and then how old Claire and Henry are, so you can tell if he's time traveling to this part or not, because sometimes he time travels to a place where he's already at. So there's two of him, which remind me of Harry Potter, and then he like talks to himself, but he's like in the past or in the future, and it just gets really confusing. So that's basically the story, and it's just of how their relationship unravels and how they get married, and then all this drama with trying to get kids. And just, I liked the ending though, because there weren't any cliffhangers or anything. You weren't left wondering about any people's circumstances. You knew it was the end. And yeah, I would give it like 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't my favorite book that I've ever read, but it definitely kept me like wanting to read until the end. Like today I was like halfway and I was like, oh, I'll just get a good chunk in a day, but I ended up finishing it just because I wanted to know what happened in the end. And so that aspect, like, I think she wrote it well, and I think it was like a really good story, and it keeps you wanting to read it. But it's just not my cup of tea. Like, it was a little bit sci-fi for me at times. I think especially if I watched the movie, it would have like ruined that part for me, because movies can sometimes ruin books for you. But I'm like satisfied with not seeing the movie. I really did like the book, and I don't see how they could fit all this into like a 2-hour movie, because it is a lot. It goes through basically Claire's whole life, like when she was 6 until she was like 40. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't my favorite book of all time, but throughout the book you will be slightly confused the whole time. At least that's what it was with me. Like, some parts it is really clear like what's happening if it's in the present, but if he like time travels somewhere, I get so confused. So that was basically the whole book for me. And yes, that's all I wanted to say. I enjoyed it. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!